In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a pivot table for multiple sheets in Google Sheets. So sometimes when you're working with data, you may want to create a pivot table where your data exists on multiple different sheets. Now, the downside of this is that we actually can't create a pivot table from multiple sheets. What we need to do is we need to combine all of the sheets into one sheet first. And there's a couple ways to do this. You can either do it manually or you can do a formula, and I will show both ways. So in this example, I have two sheets. I have this sheet that has the sales data for different branches of a store. So this sheet has sales data for the west and east branches, and then this sheet has the sales data for the north and south branches. But what I want to do is I want to have a pivot table that has all of the data in one instead of creating two separate pivot tables. So again, you can't create a pivot table on multiple sheets. What we need to do is we need to get both sheets into a single sheet somehow. So again, you can either do it manually by just opening a new sheet, and you can copy and paste, and this may work for you if your data is small enough, but if you have a large data set or you have multiple sheets, this might not be the best method. So I'm not going to paste the header row twice. I'm just going to paste the data since the headers are the same. So you can either do it like this and now have the data in a single sheet and I can create a pivot table on that, or you can use the query function to consolidate all of your data into a single sheet. So I'll show you how to do that here. So this is going to be the syntax that you're going to use for the query function. This first argument here is going to be the range of the first sheet that you want to combine, and then it's semicolon, and then the range of the second sheet, semicolon, and then if you have other sheets, you can just continue adding them on here. Now, one important thing to note with this function is that in the first sheet, I'm going to be including the headers in my range, but then in the second sheet or the second argument, I'm not going to include that header row because it's already in there and I don't want it duplicated. So again, the syntax is query, and then everything has to be wrapped in these curly brackets, which I was missing at the end there. But that is the syntax. So I'll show you how to use that now. So what you do is you open up a new sheet, and then you want to do this function in the very first cell, in cell A1. So what I'm going to do is equals query, and then again curly brackets. And so my range is going to be east-west, because that's my sheet name here. East, west, exclamation point. And let's just go look at my data. So it's A1 to G9. So A1 to G9 semicolon. And then the next one is north, south, exclamation point. Let's figure out the range of this. So again, I'm going to leave A1 out of the range this time because I already have the headers in from that first argument. So we're going to do A2 to G9. So A2 to G9, and then I need to add that last curly bracket on the end, and we will press enter. And you can see this is my data now. It's combined. So now that I have all of the sheets consolidated into a single sheet, now I can actually create the pivot table. So from here, you create it like you create any pivot table. You highlight your data range, data, pivot table. I always like to insert it to a new sheet, so I'm going to leave that one selected and then create. And now you have your blank pivot table, and you can start filling it out with whatever data you want to view. So that is pretty much it for creating a pivot table from multiple sheets. The key again is you just have to get them into a single sheet somehow. You can either do it manually, or if you want, give this query function a shot, because it is pretty useful, especially when you have multiple sheets that you need to consolidate into one. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions or content suggestions, just let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to answer everyone.